Hello, and welcome to episode 29 of Anime Territory, a podcast that's our excuse to watch and discuss anime. I'm your host this episode, Benjamin Shabbing, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Johnny Love Wildly Ruhal.
That was the English tagline for the movie?
That's what IMDb said what the tagline for this movie was.
I don't know if I would ever say I love wildly.
I thought it was funny.
It doesn't fit.
No,
so
not really.
Must quit.
Alright. Today we're discussing Wolf Children. Movie by Mamoru Hosoda.
A movie I love wildly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is the end of Mamoru March, right?
Yeah, our whole 2 episodes.
3.
Oh, you're right.
We
Technically
cheated.
3.
We put Summer Wars right before March started.
Forgot we watched Summer Wars.
It's been a little bit.
It's been a weird month.
Yeah. Okay, so Mamoru Hosoda. We watched all of his movies now except for the One Piece movie he did and Belle, which we missed the opportunity to go see in theaters. Mm-hmm. So we will be ranking our thoughts on the other 6 movies, counting the Digimon movie. Mm-hmm. Towards the end of this episode here.
Correct.
Now, I don't know why I'm talking. You're the one hosting.
But the natural order of things.
Just talk a lot more. Spoiler free.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on this movie?
This movie is great. It's very kind of chill, but very sad.
It's sad, but not necessarily
it's
in
melancholic.
A bad way. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, like, it's nostalgic too. You look back at your childhood and you're like, I was a different person, or I could have gone down a different path in life and I didn't.
What if I was a wolf children?
What if I was a single mom and lost my husband and I had to raise wolf children? Didn't have a job, eating into our savings because they needed full-time care, and you can't hire a nanny because then you have to explain the concept of wolf children to them.
Yeah.
But, that's those are the daily struggles of this Japanese single mother in these times.
Yeah.
Every Japanese single mother goes through struggles similar.
I would say almost every single mother anywhere.
Well, the wolf children are native to Japan. They're extinct everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So
that we know of.
It's true. It's true. They thought wolves were extinct as well, but
not anymore.
There's that one was bought off the Moscow circus.
It's technically a Russian wolf. It's just in Japan.
Yeah. Well, are you saying that he's a foreigner?
I just don't think he has his green card yet.
Okay. He's not a permanent resident. I don't know. That cell he was in looked pretty permanent. I don't think he was going anywhere. I don't think they can rehabilitate and release a wolf into the ecosystem.
Probably not. Well, it's the only one. They really can't put in. I guess you could, but there's no point.
It's just like if you release the wolf into this small town ecosystem, then you have a whole bunch of legal trouble if that wolf causes issues. I mean, sure, like wild animals are going to cause issues, but if it's a wolf causing it, well, you know for a fact which wolf it is. Yeah. If it's a bear or whatever, it's like, it could be any bear. That's also like the government's fault for releasing a wolf.
You can't. It's not like going to repopulate the.
No, it's not. It's not going to
because it's the only one
food chain, but. It's just like it could be a menace to society sort of thing.
Yeah.
So,
hey, you're painting wolves as the bad guys again.
Look, I don't paint wolves as the bad guys. Western literature does. All right?
I think we should get back on topic of discussing the movie.
Okay. I mean, that was your thoughts. I love this movie. I was crying before we got to the sad parts because I was remembering the sad parts. I've seen this movie once before. And like... I was crying like in the beginning before the wolf children ever showed up. I was just thinking of things like, why am I crying right now?
Dude,
this is the happy times.
I get it because the music in that is
the
just
music
fantastic.
It's very evoking of sad emotions.
Yes.
It's just like, damn it. It's like, this is not sad what's happening.
This is a happy montage.
But it's like sort of setting up just a sad life.
It's like, I've never seen the movie, but I'm aware of what happens in it. So it's just like, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Why do we always have to do this with this happy music? And then it's just, okay, there it is. Thanks for that movie.
I thought the music was a little sad. Like, it could be taken both ways. I think that's the genius of it. Like, I knew it was just like, these are the good times while we have them, and they're not going to last. That was that's what made me tear up.
Yeah.
But I'm glad you didn't notice me tearing up.
No, I didn't.
It's
because I was too worried about me tearing up.
I teared up so much in this movie. I'm tearing up now thinking about it.
But yeah, this movie's fantastic.
And we say it's sad. It's also very happy. It's not like it's life. It's
the beginning
ups and downs.
Yeah, it's a happy sad.
Yeah.
Or again, just like a medium sad.
So can we? This is still sort of spoiler free, but maybe edging into a little bit spoilers.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll give my spoiler free rating of it. This is I'm going to say a 10 out of 10. This is a 10 out of 10 movie.
Okay.
Like, I could maybe be persuaded in a 9, but...
I would start with 9. It might hit 10, but I would give it a solid 9.
Okay. Now, I want to kind of talk about... I sort of thought of this movie as like... It's sort of like a slice of life movie, because it's not really like a big conflict or anything. It's just investigating these people's daily lives. Yeah. But I'm like, it's not really a slice of life. It's bigger than that. It's like a chunk of life. It's like we follow like Hana for like 13 or 14 years.
It's like my slice of life.
Yeah, it's
like half the pie.
It's a New York style slice of life.
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta fold it in half before you eat it. So a chunk of life story. I mean, it's also a coming of age, but a coming of age story doesn't normally start from baby and go to adolescence.
Before baby. It starts with the parent.
Yeah. There's like a solid 15 to 20 minutes without the wolf children.
I guess you're viewing this as a Yuki story.
It's...
Because I would argue it's more of a Hana story. I know
it's all three of them. They're all three the leads.
Because Yuki is like the narrator, and it's like her telling the story, but it's the story about her mother.
But it's a story about her mother raising her and her brother.
Okay.
So it's very hard to say. If anything, I would say Hana and Yuki are basically tied, and Ame is close behind when it comes to... Because it's Yuki's story sort of becomes... I want to be accepted as a person, and I want to embrace this side of me. Whereas Hana's story becomes...
We're kind of getting into spoilers, but go ahead.
Yeah, Hana's story becomes... Well, Hana's story starts as a love story for the first 20 minutes or something, and then it turns into a, oh God, I have to keep smiling because my life is... It's not... There are good things in my life, but things aren't going that great, and I'm making tough decisions. But it turns into, her story sort of turns into her and Ame's story, if that makes sense. Like, they sort of share it's about them. Ame's story is about him separating from his family and going off on a different path. And Hana's story is sort of like, I need to accept my kid for what he is. Very like, okay, you don't want to go to school, but you're still like really smart and you're learning stuff. Yeah. But also, I don't want to see you leave. You're still my son. Yeah. I want this family to stay together. She
wants him to know about like his wolf side.
Yes.
But she's also a mother, and she doesn't want to see her child leave. Yeah.
So, like, that's sort of what her story becomes about. Whereas Yuki's story really becomes, her own thing. It's
finding acceptance, I guess.
And it doesn't...
world.
her story doesn't rely upon her mom so much after a certain point.
Sure.
Whereas, I can tell that Ame is, holding himself back from being who he wants to be for his mother's sake, and it's about finally letting go of that. I mean, that's the whole theme of the movie, really. Yeah. It's just different paths and, loving each other despite our differences. Because, I mean, Yuki and Ame are presented, basically they've got the same circumstances. And in fact, you could even say that Yuki was more apt to be a wolf at the beginning than Ame was.
She was a lot more rambunctious.
Yes, she was
tendencies, always hunting, gathering stuff.
Yeah, whereas he was a lot more timid and shy. And at one point, he says he doesn't want to be a wolf, and it's like you can't help it. But then there's the turn. The snow is the turning point for him, where it's just like I felt good about it for once, and then. He doesn't remember like messing up and nearly dying of hypothermia and drowning, but
it's like that was the first time he wasn't like scared to unleash like his wolf side, I guess.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just they took two very different paths just by coming from the same, having the same opportunities, and that's what people do. Like, even presented the same situation, your life could turn out completely different. So. It's not like, okay, yeah, you were able to become this because of your upbringing. It's like, no, we had the same and we're different. It's our natures were different, but our nurtures were the same.
Yeah.
Or even the other natures were very similar, but their choices were different. I feel like I'm babbling, but
no, you're good.
That's what this movie's about. I don't know what else to say. What are we gonna do for the rest of the podcast?
We could briefly go over some plot stuff.
Okay, that's your bag.
Okay, so we start off. We are introduced to Hana, the mom.
Yep.
But when we first start, she's just a college kid, going to school, working part-time. In her classroom, she sees this really hot, lonely guy in like the corner of the classroom. And she's just like, wow, what a hunk.
He doesn't have a textbook. Hey, he didn't fill out his attendance slip. Let me go chase after him.
Yeah. So she does that. They meet. They fall in love. He reveals...
Can I quickly note?
Yeah.
That he's just like, I just showed up. I don't go to school. I'm paying for this shit.
Yeah, he's like... He like works for a moving company too. So it's just like... I think this is what he does just to learn.
Yes. Which is something I thought about. Like, nobody's stopping you from just going in and sitting on lectures. You're just not going to get credit for it.
Yeah.
They're not going to hand you a test. Or
there's going to be that one time where it's a class where they like actually take attendance. And they'll be like, wait, who are you? I'm like,
this isn't chemistry? Oh, shit, I'm in the wrong classroom. We've been learning physics this whole time. I've seen you every day. Like, I'm not the brightest student. I thought this all has to tie into chemistry eventually, right?
I thought we'd get there eventually. Okay. Anyways, they fall in love basically. He reveals he's a wolf man.
Move over, Jacob. New hot wolf man in town.
Yes.
Is that the character's name in Twilight?
Yes.
Okay. I cannot remember the actor's name right now.
Taylor Lautner.
Move over, Taylor Lautner. It's a new hot wolf man in town.
New hot wolf man sheriff in town.
It's not a sheriff. Neither of them are sheriffs, Ben.
But they could be. Anyways.
I guess. You're really thinking about possibilities. Yes, it is possible.
He reveals, she's like, I don't care. I love you. I don't care what you are. And then they do it.
Yeah, they do.
And then they have a baby.
She fucks that wolf man at least twice.
One of my notes is, I think I get furries now. Because let's face it, he was pretty hot as a wolf.
I mean, I got it. I just don't partake.
Sorry, the wolf man's name is Okami.
Well, I don't think they ever say his name in the dub.
I think they say his name.
I don't think they do.
I think they do.
I I really don't think they do.
She's always like called out like his name in that like field. She doesn't say wolf man.
No, but I think she just says like it's you or deer or
whatever. Anyways, his name's Okami, which means wolf.
Yeah,
basically,
it's a extinct type of wolf from Japan.
But yeah, they have a baby. You see their kind of struggles / happiness about having a baby. Then they have another one. Well, just her like having all that sickness and
I mean it's just like morning sickness. Yeah. It's not like they weren't.
I guess it's not like a struggle, but I'm just kind of the hardships of it. Just her being sick all the time and him cooking that pheasant to make her happy.
Yeah, he like brings home a pheasant that he like caught as a wolf.
Yeah.
But yeah, the day that their second child is born, Ame, he's like he never came home. Like there was some bags of groceries outside of the door and his wallet, but then I guess he turned into a wolf to go try to catch another pheasant, and it was raining, some sort of some like celebration, or the Yuki as narrator said like it might have been like his instincts to go provide food for his newborn sort of thing, sustenance.
Yeah.
So, but some accident happens and she goes out looking for him, and she sees that they're like dragging the body of a wolf out of a river, I guess.
It's like a river drainage
stream, drainage ditch. I mean, it's flowing pretty fast, but that could have been because of the rain. But
yeah, he died,
and he gets what I'm gonna plan for my funeral. Just throw me in the back of a garbage truck.
God, it's so sad. She just falls
and like
down.
she can't explain that's her husband because it's a dead wolf. Like, what are you gonna do?
You know what I like most about that scene is that the random person just holds the umbrella up for him.
I mean, that's
a good touch.
That's awesome. Yeah. So it's like, all right, first real cry moment time. No, I have cried before this because I knew this was coming.
But yeah, he dies, and now she's all alone, having to raise 2 wolf children by herself, and then it's just her struggling.
Keep the fact hidden that there's wolf children.
Yeah.
The landlord is like,
I know you have pets.
You have pets. You're not allowed to have pets or we'll kick you out. The neighbors being like, shut that damn baby up. It's like, the baby, it cries.
Like, Yuki's very energetic. She's always running around, destroying everything. And then Ami's just, as a baby, it was just very...
Yeah, he needed like constant attention.
He needed constant attention, and always like crying, so...
Yeah. She was not getting any sleep. She was not working because it took all of her time to take care of the kids.
Yep.
So they were just eating into their savings the whole time. The only picture she has of her husband is his driver's license photo.
Yeah, that's kind of sad, but
yeah,
it wasn't. It felt like it wasn't a long romance. It was probably just.
Well, it was at least 2 years.
I guess that's true, but I feel like it wasn't much after that.
Yeah, it was.
It's like I believe she was still in college because she dropped out.
Yeah.
So.
It's
Anyways.
But yeah, I mean, there's a scene where Yuki eats like a silica gel packet and has thrown up a bunch, and she's like, I cannot take him. Don't look at your phone. I cannot take him to the. I can't take him to a hospital, or I can't take her to a hospital in case she turns into a wolf in the middle of it. The same reason I can't take her to the vet because she might turn into a human in the middle of it.
It's like a really sad, like, intense moment, but it's just really funny where she's just like, do I go to a regular hospital or a veterinary
They're like across the street from each other, and she just goes to a payphone, and it's like, my child needed silica gel packet. I keep wanting to say pallet. It's like, well, did it throw up? Is there any blood? No. How's their appetite? Mom, I'm hungry. It's like, okay, she's gonna be fine, but it's just like that's so frustrating. And then like she can't go like. I don't think this movie is anti-vax, but she can't get her kids vaccinated for the same reason. So, like, social services is on her about it. Mm-hmm. It's like, I really hope this movie is not anti-vax. I think it's just a matter
it's just
of
more of her being afraid of
going to a hospital with the condition that they have.
Yeah.
So,
But eventually she decides that they need to not be in the city anymore, so she moves them out to the country.
Yeah, you can get a real good rate on a rundown house because the government's trying to put people in them. So
they like do that now, right? I think there's like some parts where they're just like, you can buy this house for like $1, but you have to fix it up.
Yeah. And the realtor is like, oh, I'll go show you another one. He's like, nope, this one will work.
He's just like, Nani?
Because the kids can run around as wolves and there's no neighbors for miles. So there's nobody peeking in too often wondering why the hell my daughter has wolf ears.
But yeah, that happens. Then she spends like 20 minutes fixing up the house.
Yeah, the kids love it. Or at least Yuki loves it. Ame is like, when are we going home? And it's
yeah,
this is our home now, bud.
Yeah. Cleans it up, makes it a home. Looks really nice, actually.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm sure it's got like hella drafty, but and like lots of insect problems, probably. But
well, that's just living in the country.
Yeah. Yuki's like, we got ants for neighbors.
Yeah. What is it? That's the scene where she's like, yeah, I talked to this boar. I peed on it.
Ame's like, I got beat up by some of the animals. And it's like, because you're not
tough enough.
You gotta be tough. You know, I scared him off when I showed up, and I beat him. It's like, you gotta be nice to the other animals, Yuki. Mom,
let me pee on the animals.
They start like farming because the food is just,
again, they're running out of money, so it's like, let's try to make her own.
Let's try to grow tomatoes. She gets a bunch of books from the library, or not maybe the library. She might even buy those books, I think.
And this is a bus, so it's either a traveling library or a traveling bookstore.
Yeah.
But yeah, she tries growing things. It's not working. And then old Clint Eastwood neighbor.
Yeah, some old grumpy farmer is like,
you don't have what it takes to grow stuff here.
And then his daughter comes by the next day. He's like, he told me to give you these seed potatoes. And then he comes by and you're doing it all wrong.
Like, these are the ones you plant, right? You don't eat these, right? And the neighbor's just like, yeah, don't eat these. If you eat these, my either husband or dad is going to be pissed.
He's going to be pissed if he thinks you're eating these seed potatoes. She starts planting them, and the guy comes by and is like, I should have just thrown them out if you're going to do it that way. Yeah. Like, go plow some more. The soil's not ready.
Yeah, the field's not ready. You got to till it.
Make another field of these two. And then some other old geezers come by.
That dirt isn't hard enough. That dirt's too soft.
Some other old geezers come by, and it's like, plant this with this to keep the weeds out. And
keep the bugs out.
Here's a natural remedy for keeping bugs away.
When those two guys showed up, were you like, oh God, is that us?
No, they're way too knowledgeable. Well, their bickering is a little like us, though.
It's like, oh God.
Like, do it this way. Don't do it that way. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
You don't want to use a whole lot of fertilizer. No, you need to use a lot of fertilizer.
Well, I thought one of them was like, don't pour the water before. You got to pour the water before you plant it. You can pour it after it. It's fine. Only if you don't want it to grow.
Like, well, that's why your crops don't grow.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a fun scene, though.
Yeah, those guys were cool. But yeah, so with a little help from the neighbors, they start to they produce a crop.
Her finally being able to kind of like have somebody with her. She's been alone for 6 years, basically raising these kids, and now she finally has like
a little bit of help.
A little bit of help.
Yeah, she says on the city we moved away from the city to get away from all the prying eyes, but now we've got people watching over us, and it's way better. Mm-hmm. Watching out for us, sort of thing.
Yeah, but then this eventually leads Yuki wanting to start like preschool, or I guess
somebody's like, get her into preschool, but like she's too old for preschool, so she goes into first grade. Yeah. And then she finally convinces mom, like, I won't be a wolf. I won't. She like throws a tantrum, and turns into a wolf as part of her tantrum. It's finally like, I won't do it. So it's like, okay.
She like crawls into a little space. She's like, I promise I won't turn into a wolf. And it's like really sad. You're just like, oh, come on, just let her go to school.
Yeah.
She'll learn that it sucks.
She goes to school. And she has a little mantra. I'm going to be a little girl all the way home. Mm-hmm. And then Ame goes to school the next year. Yeah. And, we kind of get a montage at this point of them, like...
I really like that montage. I feel like it's
like a single shot montage. Yeah. It goes... It's like, okay, here's the first grade classroom, now there's the second, and now we're going back to the second. To the
now
first.
Ami's in second grade, and Yuki's in third grade, and then we move over, and then you see that Ami's now in third grade. And,
but he kind of stops going to classes, too. Like, they cut to his classroom, and he's just not there anymore. The mom gets a job. I guess at the time that Yuki starts going to school, the mom gets a job at a conservation society. It's not going to pay well, but she can bring her son with her, and
I think she also wants to kind of just learn about all this, just so that she has something to give to.
And Ame was very interested in it too, and it's good to be around the nature, especially since she wants
her theme is like she doesn't know how to raise wolf children, so like this is kind of one way for her to kind of learn, maybe a way to teach them.
Yeah, and they have like a wolf there, but it was a wolf raised in captivity, and they try to talk to it and it just ignores them.
Well, Ame is just like, oh, that wolf was sad.
Yeah, he's got a sad. His eyes are sad, so it's like it's a sad life.
Yeah, he's been in captivity. He was a pet.
He was raised in captivity. He was in a circus. I think he was a rich person's pet, and now he's being taken care of by the government. Mm-hmm. So, or this, I don't know if it's actually government.
Wolf life ain't easy.
But yeah, Ame doesn't go to school. He shows up at work with her sometimes, and sometimes he just goes up to visit somebody who lives in the mountains.
We call Sensei.
Yeah. And his mom's like, oh, I'd like to meet this person. And he's like, oh yeah, he's
not
cool. Like the other animals.
that's like,
and she's like, oh, okay, that tracks.
Because you're like watching. He says Sensei, and you're like, it's an animal, right?
Yeah.
But he's like, he's not like the other animals. So I'm like, called it. Yep. Yeah. Definitely an animal.
Yeah, he's being taught by like a fox that lives up there, and he's like, he's the lord of this domain. He's in charge.
He's the king of the mountain.
And then my memory failed me. I thought there was a wolf up there, or I thought that that wolf that was in the nature preserve was the same person that was up there. That was my memory from like 6 years ago failing. So,
gotcha.
But it's like, okay, it's a fox, because I'm like, they never released that wolf, so it can't be a wolf.
Unless there's like a super secret wolf nobody's ever seen.
Yeah, but no, it was a fox that was up there.
Mm-hmm.
Around this time too, there is a new transfer student comes into school named Sohei.
Yep, Sohei.
And he's like, "Do you have dogs at home?" She's like, "No." You smell like dogs. Like, do you smell that? And she's like getting really nervous around it and doesn't want to.
So when you Google Wolf Children main character, under characters, the first character listed is Sohei.
Really?
So he's technically the main character.
We don't know if I'd go that far.
Yeah.
But there's also a manga out there, so who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But he's like, why are you ignoring me? Like, just talk to me. Did I do something wrong to make you hate me? And she's just like, it's like, I'm not running away from you, as she's running away from him.
Yeah.
And then eventually, like, she is like cornered and frustrated. She like lashes out at him and claws up his ear.
Yeah.
And then
as a wolf.
Yeah, as like a halfway form.
No, but she like does good damage on the ear. It's like Mike Tyson damage.
But Sohei's mom shows up to school, and Hana shows up to school. She's like, you gotta apologize. And Sohei's mom was like, if he loses his hearing, I'm gonna sue you for all you're worth. And it's like, it's not much, lady.
So good luck.
It's like, you're gonna get some potatoes and a house the government gave her for pennies.
Pennies on the dime. So go right ahead.
So, but Sohei's like, it wasn't her.
It was a wolf.
It's like, well, it's not a wolf. They're like, wolves aren't real, buddy.
I'm surprised the teachers are like, there hasn't been a wolf in Japan in hundreds of years. What the hell are you talking about?
It's like, so, but like, we never see his mom again.
Yeah.
And we also kind of get a feeling that she's not the greatest mom in the world.
No.
Because towards the end, there's like a big storm, flooding. They're like, we're going to close down school early and call your parents to come have you pick up.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, the mom has told Ame, it's like, you're not...
Well, Ami's like, Sensei's hurt. I think he's going to die. Somebody has to take over for him. And
she's mom's like, no, don't do that. Stay with me. Which is like the one time where she's not supportive of his choices, which is very understandable.
Yeah.
Is that your son just said, I'm going to go live in the woods as a wolf and you're probably never going to see me again.
The part that hits is she's like, you're not a wolf. Shoot, I wasn't supposed to say that.
Yeah.
Because she's always been like, I want you to know both sides, but then when he decides to be a wolf, she's like, no, I don't want you to be a wolf.
Yeah. I want you to be my son.
Yeah.
She's like, 10 years... Yeah, she's like, 10 years old is a grown-up for a wolf, but you're not a wolf.
Yeah.
It's like, well, sort of. It's weird.
Yeah, but it just, that part hit, because you're just like, oh, she said it.
So, like, but anyway, the storm hits. All their parents are being called. She's like, yeah, I'll go pick her up. It's, Ame, do you want to go with me to pick up Yuki from school? And she's like, Ame, where are you? And she sees him, like, head up towards the mountains and catches a glimpse of him. So she goes after him and loses sight of him and has a close encounter with a bear and her cubs.
It was a cool bear.
Yeah. She falls down a hill and is unconscious for a little bit.
Yeah.
She has a dream where she sees her husband, and he's like, they've made they're both doing great, and
he did a great job.
And he is where he's supposed to be. He knows himself. This is he has found his place in the world, and that's when she's like, okay, I guess I need to let him make this choice. He finds her, carries her down, leaves her in a parking lot. She gets like one last glimpse at him before he runs off into the woods.
Well, no, he runs up a mountain.
Well, yeah. And there's woods in that mountain too.
He basically climbs up a waterfall.
He jumps over a waterfall. He goes up a mountain, and there is a stream that turns into a waterfall that he jumps over. I would not say he climbed up a waterfall.
No, he didn't.
That's like some
there's just
magic
a huge
shit.
ledge, like mountain ledge, whatever. And then there's a waterfall, and he just like keeps jumping up until he gets to the top.
Yeah.
He
really jumps the waterfall maybe twice. You're exaggerating how much this waterfall is important. He jumps it once.
I don't know, it was a weird place for a waterfall because it was like right in the parking lot, or it seemed like.
Well, I mean, it's just that parking lot might have been to see the waterfall. I've recently spent some time in Oregon, and there's just a parking lot next to waterfalls. I don't know what to tell you.
That is true.
We've got a picture of that waterfall.
I think I assumed that the parking lot was like the schoolyard because like that's the only parking lot we've seen. But it's very possible it's just like a parking lot on the side of the road. I
do not think it was the schoolyard because the school was like a half-hour drive away from their house.
It looked flooded, so it's like probably not that parking lot.
Yeah, no, I don't think it was not the school parking lot. It's just a parking lot.
I got
you. And meanwhile, at this time, Sohei's mom has not picked him up either, and he like goes to be alone in a classroom, and she goes to go look for him after he's been gone for a while, and then the teachers are eventually like to the rest of the kids that are there, like, hey, we're just going to take you home.
Yeah.
And so they get left there. Yeah. There is somebody like roaming the halls, making sure there's nobody in there, but they hide from him.
Yeah, like the
and then Yuki's like, "Wait, why do we hide from him?" And he's like, "I'm just gonna
live here."
So he's like, "I'm just gonna stay here. I'm never gonna go home because my mom's got a new husband and she's gonna have a new baby and they won't need me."
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not true. Like, I'm sure your mom does love you, but also, why didn't she come pick you up?
She might not love you.
It's like, she might not have her priorities straight, or she might not, like, know that you're stranded at the school because she's so busy with her new boy. Like, maybe she's not even at home. Like, no, I don't know.
She might not have a phone.
We don't really get a resolution to that, but Sohei has also been, like, sort of becoming friends with Yuki at this point.
Yeah.
And, like, he's got a cool scar on his ear.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool scar.
When they're alone in the school, she's like, I was the wolf who attacked you. Like, I couldn't... Yeah. I wasn't supposed to reveal this, but I can't keep it from you anymore. He's like, oh, I know.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry, I won't tell anybody. I haven't told anybody, and I won't tell anybody. And then, like, the story sort of ends, Yuki giving an epilogue. Like, I mean, I moved on. I went to middle school. I don't live at home because it's like a 2.5 hour drive.
Yeah, so she lives at the dorm.
One way. Mm-hmm. So I live at the dorm, and like I knew after that morning that my mom would be okay because she's still living there alone, but happy and or content is I think what she says. And we get a side of her. She's like in the house and she hears a wolf howling, and then
God, it's so sad.
Yeah.
Sad, but
I gotta think that. I mean, he's still like around.
Yeah,
she's gonna see him every now and again. He's
gonna
come by for Christmas.
He's king of the mountain. He's around.
Yeah, he's gonna come by and keep the animals away from her crops because that was the whole thing. Like her crops were the only ones that didn't get hit by animals.
Oh yeah, that's true.
And she's like, I wonder if. Never mind. I'm not gonna say this in front of people. That I wonder if it's the wolves I have guarding my place.
It's definitely the wolves.
Yeah.
No, there's the other part where like there's some neighbors over and Yuki walks by like in the park or the driveway as a wolf.
And they're like, "Oh, you've got a dog. Kind of looks more like a wolf. Like wolves are extinct. Tell me that's like a
German Shepherd
mixed with some other breed. Tell me I'm right. Tell her that she's wrong."
She's like,
yep, it's a dog."
Yuki walks into the back.
Like, "Hey mom, how's it going?" And then she runs out the front and then
turns back into
a wolf and nobody's watching.
No, the guy's like, "Oh, that wolf has the same dress as Yuki.
How adorable. She's wearing matching clothes with your daughter." It was a fun scene. Mm-hmm. This movie's full of fun scenes and sad scenes. It's just, I don't know, it's just beautiful. If I was a better wordsmith, I'd say something other than this movie is just beautiful.
Mm-hmm. But we're not.
I mean, you want to go over some of the notes? I've got 2 notes that I wrote down here.
I got a couple.
Okay. I've got old people like farming.
Yeah.
Source, all those old people like farming in the movie. My grandpa's like 90 and he still has a garden. My mom has a garden. My dad, who's never really... Like, he's like tilled for my mom and helped out, but he's just like... He's not really retired, but he takes more time off than he used to. And he just he grew pumpkins last year.
Cool.
Just completely separate from my mom's garden. And
it's like my dad tries to grow a garden, but for whatever reason, nothing ever grows in our garden. I guess we just don't plant it at the right time.
Plant it at the right time, or go into to shelter it from the weather, or the frost comes late because Illinois temperatures are like, well, it's warm now. Nope, it's back to freezing.
I think it's always because we get rain right after we plant it, and it just floods everything.
Yeah. So it's just you got to take precautions like that. Like, okay, it's raining, we got to go do something to get the water away.
I'm not mad about it because that means I don't have to pick anything.
Yeah.
So it's like, darn it, shoot, dang. I totally would have helped with that.
I mean, my mom had a garden every year of my life, and I only helped pick sometimes. So it's, I don't know, but that's just, maybe that's just me being lazy. Oh, yeah. But my mom likes gardening. She's just, she's old. She likes gardening. She's old.
I didn't mind picking some stuff, but there's other things you're just like, I don't want to pick blackberries. Those things have
I want to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2.
It's hot outside. Let me stay in the air conditioning.
Please. The other note I have is the dad, the wolf man. He just has a sentiment that really resonated with me. It's like, I get if I could get myself a home, I could build a bookshelf, and I will when I fill it with books. Nothing's stopping me. I could just build another bookshelf. It's like, that's cool. That's living.
What's even cooler is Hana's response to that, and she's like, well, I could be there too if you want.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, snap.
And he's like, there's something I need to tell you.
Man, she's horny on Maine right now. Woo.
I am,
I'm a wolf.
He's like, never mind. Day or two later. I'm a wolf man. That movie nonsense is bullshit. I'm just descended from a wolf, and I don't know, my great grandma fucked a wolf.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it was like a god or something. So now the descendants have wolf blood, and I'm the last one that I know of. So, and she's like, all I see is you. It's
And this hot wolf man.
And then, like, he is a wolf man when they have sex. Like,
Yes.
they wake up the next morning and he's, human shape again. But, like, there's a scene where it's like, you can't, like, see anything, but you can tell that she's naked. And you can tell that he's got a claw hand and a wolf muscle. And she kisses the wolf muzzle. And then 9 months later, Yuki's born.
Yeah.
And then, like, another 9 months later, Ame's born.
This is one of those things where, like, if they have sex where they're both just human form, it's just a human baby.
I don't think that's the case.
I don't think it works like that. But...
We didn't get to see the second instance of sex, so hard to say.
Oh, no. How mad do you think that dad would be if it turned out to be a fox child?
Whose baby is this? The very least, being the last Wolfman, you know that the babies are yours, that they're wolf children.
Yeah.
There's no denying the parentage there.
That is your child.
Oh, and Ame looks so much like his dad.
Yeah.
Like, it's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
But those are my notes, other than the rankings that we got.
I'm going to bring in the segment we did once called Dope Hat. Hana has a dope hat when she's like gardening. It's just like almost like a Sophie hat from Howl's.
Okay, just like a straw hat.
Yeah, straw hat with like a ribbon in the middle. I just thought it was really cool looking.
Okay, I'm not a big fan of straw hats. Like,
I mean, I would never wear a straw hat, but I thought it looked cool.
When I bought the house, it came with a straw hat in the garage.
It's still in there.
I hide the. I shouldn't say what I hide under there.
Oh shit! There's something in there. I'll be right back.
It's bare house keys, really. So, not that anybody's ever going to be in our garage, but
I'll be right back.
There's spare house keys if you get locked out somehow.
Okay, but that door's locked, so you have to open the garage. Okay, I guess
you'd have to have access to the garage. So
I got you. So yeah, just wanted to point out dope hats.
Dope hats.
My other thing was like I like how Japanese names are because it seems like every time they're like named after like something. It's like my name means flower, or like moon, or like river.
To quote Kyon in The Disappearance of Haruhi Suzumiya, Yuki means snow, doesn't it?
Yeah. But it's like my name is just my name because my mom liked it.
Your name is the left hand of God.
That's not why she named me that. I'm like, why did
my name means
My mom, who goes by Ben, I ask, why did you name me Benjamin? And she's like, I just like the name.
She goes by Ben. It's so weird. And she never expected people to call you Ben. I don't...
Well, her always excuse is like, your name's Benjamin. I'm like, Mom,
please.
Grow up.
Every Benjamin ever has gone by Ben at some point in their life.
It's like my sister's named after a name she read in a romance novel. So it's just like, okay. Japanese is like, oh yeah, her name is Hana because there was a flower that bloomed in our garden when the day she was born. It's like very sweet. I'm just like, I don't know, I just like the name.
I mean, yeah. Our names have meanings. I think mine is gift from God or something.
But again, they're not naming you for that.
No, they're naming you. People, I feel like. In olden times, you would pick a name based off of the meaning, but in Japan, it's just sort of is a very traditional country and sort of held on to that. There's also people out there that just have names like ours too. Like there are people in America that name their kids for a very specific thing for a specific reason.
Pajamas.
The doctor said, what do we call this kid? And he was in his pajamas already, so I just called him Pajamas. There are people out there that choose their names carefully, and there are people out there there are people in Japan that just choose their names at random. It's like, you could call them Akira because that's a common name.
I like the movie.
It's also just a very common name.
Akira is?
Yeah.
Or Tetsuo?
Akira.
Tetsuo?
Like the creator of Dragon Ball is Akira Toriyama.
That's true. I think there's never mind. I don't remember. There's this name I saw that was Akira. I don't remember from what though.
Yeah, I've seen several anime characters named it too.
I just wanted to bring up. I like how a lot of times they kind of
put thought into the names.
Put thoughts into the names or like have meaning for their names.
Yeah.
What is it? what's that called? Tonikawa. It's like, my name's NASA because
my parents are fucking weirdos.
No, I think there was a meaning for it. It's like they wanted me to like shoot for the stars or something, so they named me NASA. It's like, yeah. My name's Tonikawa because I'm from the moon. They won't say it.
There was I was watching Brandon Sanderson do a live stream recently, and he was talking about like coming up with names. And it's like, yeah, I learned in the first draft of the my first published book, Elantris, like I really shouldn't like give people names that have something to do with like their like. Okay, I really shouldn't have given this guy a name that means traitor. Like that's just nobody would name their child traitor.
Gotcha.
Like it's his own like made up phonetic semi-language sort of thing for it, so it's not going to be obvious to you, but it's just like anybody in the world would be like, oh, that guy's name means traitor.
I named my kid Bandit.
But it's just like, you know, it's a what do you call it? It's he's like, I learned my lesson.
Yeah.
I give my characters names that somebody in universe would name a child. It's not like story relevant, but has a reason for having a name like that. So but also in fantasy books, you never see two people with the same name. So
that is true.
And he's talked about that too. I've watched way too much Brandon Sanderson. It's like, you can't just, I think, like, sure, it kind of takes away from the immersion, but also, if you just have, like, 20 characters named Ben, it gets a little confusing to the reader.
It makes total sense to have different names. It's like, I don't remember names when they have different names.
Yeah, so it's like, let's not, let's have it convenient, and everybody's got a different name. Or, like, if somebody has the same name, it's for a very specific reason, or for a gag or something. Like, it's not a, Okay.
I just had one last note I wrote. It's like, did they intentionally make the old man look like Clint Eastwood?
I don't think he looked that much like Clint Eastwood.
I
think he's just supposed to look like an in shape old grumpy farmer.
Yeah, Clint Eastwood. Like 10 years ago.
Man. Okay. Do we want to talk about our Mamoru Hosoda rankings now? Or do you have more notes?
That was all the notes I had.
Okay. So, you want me to go first, or you want to go first?
Do you want to go one at a time? Start with 6?
Sure, but I think we should summarize at the end what our list is, because then it gets... it's hard to keep track of, so...
Okay, then you just go first.
Okay. So I hate to do this.
Okay.
Number 6 is the Digimon movie.
Okay.
I think it's very obvious why.
Mm-hmm.
It's
fun as hell, but it's the Digimon movie.
Yeah, it's not. It's 3 short films jammed into each other, and only 2 of them were directed by Mamoru Hosoda.
Yeah,
and one of them was severely cut down and limited my enjoyment of the movie. Like I liked the movie more after the second part. I don't really like the third part of the Digimon movie much. I mean, it's fine, but it's just like, okay, now we got to go do this real confusing mess, which they did a shoestring of redubs to fit it into the narrative. But yeah, that's my number 6 Digimon movie. What's your number 6?
Digimon movie.
Okay. Yeah. I figured our number 6s would be the same.
I mean, it's fun, but it's definitely the last. Like, it's last.
Now, the rest of these, catch me on a different day. Catch me on a different, if I just watched one of these other ones more recently. But I'm going to go number 5 is The Boy and the Beast.
Okay.
It's very fun. Mm-hmm. It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, like, I think the other movies either have got a special place in my heart, which I'll just go ahead and say my number 4 is Summer Wars, which has a special place in my heart.
Okay.
Maybe Boy and the Beast is better than Summer Wars. That's the one I could really flip-flop on.
Yeah.
But I feel like the other ones just are more meaningful movies.
Okay.
I also feel, going into my number 3, The Girl Who Leapt Through Time. That one, it's been a while. It might be a worse movie than the 2 I put behind it, but it's got a more, I like the atmosphere of it more, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, but going back to 5, Boy and the Beast, good stuff. Mm-hmm. It's just a little too clean or like.
It definitely doesn't have the emotion that his other stuff has.
Yeah, it's definitely got emotion. Yeah. But it's just a little bit more blockbustery, appealing to the masses.
Yeah.
It's good, but it's not... I wouldn't call it his masterpiece.
No.
Summer Wars has got a special place in my heart. That's why I decided to give it number 4.
Okay.
I just watched that movie so many times.
Mm-hmm.
But we've already talked about Summer Wars to death.
Yeah.
Girl Who Leapt Through Time. I'm a killer for romance. And it's sad. I don't know. It's kind of a weird movie.
Yeah.
It's just... Have we talked about Girl Who Lived Through Time? I know we watched it like that one weekend that we watched a bunch of Mamoru Hosoda stuff.
I mean, we watched it. I don't think we really talked about it, though.
Okay. It was, girl can leap through time, and then something gets fucked up, and she's out of time leaps, and I don't know. I don't know how to describe this movie, but what do you think of The Girl Who Leapt Through Time?
I mean, spoiler alert, it's my number 4.
Okay.
So it's not as high on it as you. I don't know.
Okay. And I felt very conflicted making this list, too. So another day, Girl Who Leapt Through Time might have been 5.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that was a movie you're like, oh, that's like his best one. I'm just like, nah, I don't think it is. I don't know. For me,
baseball.
That is true. Does have baseball. I don't know. That one just didn't resonate with me as much.
I don't know. It's just kids hanging out. Like there's a lot of that. Okay.
I don't know if I was just not in the right headspace when I watched that movie or not.
So I'm gonna reveal my number 1 because by process of elimination, if I reveal my number 2, you'll know what my number 1 is. So I think I'm gonna put Wolf Children at number 1.
Okay.
It was a toss up. It's been a while since I've seen Mirai, but I've only seen Mirai once, and I've seen Wolf Children twice now. Mirai is maybe a little too high concept.
Okay.
It's so beautiful. It's definitely a masterpiece, if not his masterpiece. Wolf Children might be... I know I just complained that Boy and the Beast is a little bit more mass appealing.
Yeah.
And Wolf Children might be a little bit more mass appealing than Mirai, but not to the extent of The Boy and the Beast.
Yeah. I mean, Wolf Children still has that story, though. I think.
What was that?
It's still mainstream, but the story is good enough to where it doesn't matter.
Yeah. It's just... They're both masterpieces. They're both amazing movies. And Wolf Children is just fresh in my brain. Like, this is...
Yeah.
There's not much like it out there. It's not much like Mirai out there either, but it's just... Because Mirai is like toddler to 6-year-old meeting members of his family and time travel weirdness.
Weird time travel, learning the connection between his family and his legacy and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's great. It's they're both masterpieces. Now I'm hoping Belle is going to be just as good. My thought is Belle might fall more under Summer Wars, Boy and the Beast territory, just from what I've seen of the few trailers. But
yeah,
but also like it doesn't have that. It's like, okay, it's telling Beauty and the Beast with a Digimon angle. So it's like some sort of
I'd argue
adaptation
more
as
of a
opposed
Summer Wars angle.
Whereas like Wolf Children and Mirai are just like, as far as I know, well, Wolf Children has a manga based on it, but as far as I know, like these are not. This story has never been put into a movie form before.
They're like original concepts rather than like adaptations.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe Belle will blow me out of the water, and I really hope it does. And I'm probably never going to watch the One Piece movie that he did, because that would entitle watching One Piece. Which I guess I don't... If the One Piece movies are anything like the Dragon Ball movies, you can watch it without having much One Piece knowledge, but...
I just don't care.
We shouldn't. Ben don't badmouth One Piece directly.
I'm sorry. I'm new to this anime stuff. I forgot. We can't dig on One Piece,
dig on like
Naruto, Dragon Ball,
the highest selling thing ever,
and like
One
Bleach.
Piece.
Those are like the 4 you can't badmouth.
Oh, you can badmouth Bleach.
You can badmouth
People will
Bleach.
let you badmouth Bleach.
So don't badmouth Naruto, Dragon Ball, or One Piece.
Say you just gotta, especially One Piece. It sells more than any other manga.
It's because there's thousands of them.
But each issue sells so much. You're not allowed to badmouth One Piece. Right. And I don't have anything against it other than the pacing of the anime.
Don't badmouth One Piece.
Okay. Again, I've liked what little I've seen. It's just so hard to get through One Piece. And people will tell you that anime has a pacing problem. Mm-hmm. So, but I also don't want to dive into that giant manga hole right now. It's like, I read one chapter of manga every 2 weeks. When the new Nagatoro chapter comes out, I read that. Every once in a while, I pick up a show like that where it's like, okay, well, the show ended, and now I'm going to read the manga for this romance. And then until it ends. I did that with Bokuben?
Bokuben?
I think that's what the shortening of it is. It's like, We Never Learn.
Okay.
That's the one where he's got to tutor the girl who's really good at math but wants to go into language skills and she sucks at it. And tutor the girl who's really good at language skills but wants to be a
math board game person, whatever. Yeah.
No, the math girl wants to be like a psychologist, psychiatrist to like get better at board games.
Gotcha.
She'll learn like people skills so that she can like read people in board games. And then the language arts girl wants to be like a physicist.
Gotcha.
So,
do you want me to go through my filmography?
Yes.
Ranking?
I was right, though. It is Bokuben. We Never Learn.
How do you spell Ben?
It's Bokuben, all one word.
Ooh, it is a Ben. Interesting. Okay, so my list. Number 6 is Digimon the movie.
Yep.
Fun, but it's
Digimon. Come on. I love Digimon more than the next person.
My number 5 is Mirai.
Okay.
So for me, Mirai, the ending is like fantastic. I love how it came together. But for me, the beginning is just kind of just him being a kid. I just does not appeal to me.
Okay. Mirai, we've only seen it once. I wonder how it holds on a rewatch. I wonder if because you've had movies before where on rewatch you're like, oh wait, this is way better than the first time we watched it. And I've had movies where I'm like, this is not as good.
Spirited Away was that.
Yes, Spirited Away was like that. Mm-hmm. So.
I'm
hoping you turn around on Mirai.
For Mirai again, the ending is fantastic. It's very beautiful, and its animation is great. But it's just that beginning where it's just him being a kid, like being
a spoiled kid.
Yeah, it's just like I gotta watch this.
I mean, if it makes you cringe, that means it resonates with hard feelings. Like I think about myself as a kid. Sometimes I'm like, oh my god. Why did I put that much strain on my parents? Why was I that difficult? Why was I a crybaby about this when I could have been, I could have been a better son or whatever. If it invokes that emotion, I think that's what it's trying to do.
I guess just for me, it didn't invoke that emotion. I'm just like, why is this kid so annoying?
Okay.
I guess I wasn't connecting on it on a personal level, which does not help. My number 4 is The Girl Who Leapt Through Time.
Yep.
I kind of went through it. It's really good. It's just, I guess for me, it kind of just dragged on a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
It's been so long since I've seen The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, and I've only seen it like 2 or 3 times, so.
Again, just one of those things where it didn't quite resonate with me.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. My number 3 is The Boy and the Beast.
Okay.
This, before, I guess, obviously before rewatching Summer Wars and Wolf Children, this probably would have been my favorite one, just because I think it's the most fun.
Yeah.
It is kind of his mainstream movie, but I just like the tone. I like the characters.
Oh, yeah. I don't want to say that I don't like... Again, I almost went completely different order for these. Other than...
I kind of like the idea of just this boy finding himself in just the 2 different worlds that he knows. And kind of learning to be in both.
And it's got a romance.
It's got a romance.
And pigmen.
It's got a, like, samurai... I guess he's a beast.
Boar.
Bear.
Are you talking the guy who raised him? Yeah, he's like a bear.
Yeah. It's just great. And then it's just got a romance. It's like, yeah, give me this. I like this. She taught him how to read. Number 2 is Summer Wars.
Yep.
Summer Wars is just, I think, just a fun movie. It's just, I don't know. We talked about it.
It's like they took the Digimon movie and made a real movie. I don't know what else to say about it. And they added a sort of romance, and there's a giant family, and you get a bunch of family dynamics.
I just love the family dynamic, I think. It's him coming to this family, learning about him, and just realizing just what a family is, basically.
Yeah, because he's got a very different family experience.
I think that's why it resonated with me, just because I'm pretty close to one side of my family. So it kind of just reminded me of that kind of relationship that we have. Luckily, we don't have a hacker, like a scientist who
not yet
tried to
get to work.
Ooh. Can I create an
You're
AI?
You've got to be the closest shabbing to being a hacker.
Probably.
It's like you own a laptop.
I suck at it, so.
It's like
I think
you
we're
know
okay.
people that could teach you
I don't
something.
think an AI is going to try to launch a satellite at us.
You are close friends with two professional programmers, and you're best friends with me, who has a minor in computer science and hasn't practiced in years.
Can that be like a high school reward? Most likely to have an AI shove a nuke at you or something.
Yeah, that was me. I won that one.
Okay.
Only they called it, since we had a cruising theme, they called it most likely to own the Batmobile.
Yeah.
I also got most likely to own a Ferrari.
Which means you're going to be rich.
That's most successful.
Yeah.
I basically won the nerdiest award and the most successful award, which...
One of them turned out okay.
I'm doing all right. I'm probably not doing the best I could be doing, but that's not how I get... It's not how I get my enjoyment. I don't get my enjoyment.
You're in your dining room recording a podcast nobody listens to, wearing a Hawaiian shirt. So
hey, I'm on vacation. This is my vacation shirt. All right. This kid was like, "What am I gonna wear?" I'll wear my vacation shirt. First day off I'm only taking like 3 days off, but at least this month. Big vacation's coming next month.
So number 2 is Summer Wars, and then number 1 is Wolf Children. I think this is his masterpiece. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's the one I would. It's the one I'd be most likely to show my parents.
Absolutely.
Like the one thing is like, okay, there's a scene at the beginning
where a woman has sex with a wolf man.
It's tastefully done.
Yes,
but it is there.
You get like one nipple, but
and that's a breastfeeding nipple,
yes.
So it's not sexualized. But it's just like, if it wasn't for those 2 scenes, like I'd show this to my nieces.
I'd show Digimon the movie to my nieces.
They'd be like, "What the fuck is this?"
It's Digimon, and you'll learn to love it.
Well, I want to watch Tinkerbell. This is Tinkerbell. This is where Tinkerbell gets it.
Just wait till episode 30 when Pixie-mon shows up.
Lilymon?
Lilymon, sorry.
Pixie-mon is a different thing.
Yeah.
He's like a little ball guy.
Yeah. Wait for Lilymon to show up, then you can have your Tinkerbell.
Yeah. And then I'll get Bancho Lilymon.
When Bancho Lilymon shows up, you have to leave.
Yeah, I don't think Bancho Lilymon shows up in any of the Digimon shows we've seen. I think she's like for the 4th season or the 5th season or something.
Or just for us, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I got the cards. It's fine. Okay.
So that concludes Mamoru
March.
Mamoru March.
Yeah.
I guess what do you call that? Wrap up is watch his movies. They're all good.
They're all good.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a bad one in the bunch.
Nope.
Except for maybe the One Piece one or Belle. Again, haven't seen them.
Thing with him is I say he makes good movies, but maybe not like top tier movies, if you know what I mean. They're all good and great, but not quite there.
They're not. So the thing is, the movies you're thinking of are probably like Your Name, Akira, Ghost in the Shell, Spirited Away.
Yeah.
These things are like, these are going to get put down as
greatest
some of the greatest movies.
Yeah.
Not just some of the greatest anime movies, some of the greatest movies. And he doesn't quite reach that point.
Yes.
But he is very close. He's, I think, all of these movies are some of the greatest anime movies out there.
I think you can consider him one of the best anime directors out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's Hosoda, it's Shinkai, it's obviously Miyazaki, Takahata, though rest in peace.
Yeah. And then Satoshi Kon.
Satoshi Kon, rest in peace. I would say also up there or getting up there would be the Eva guy.
Anno.
Yeah, Hideki Anno. And then who else would we put up there? Anime directors.
The Mount Rushmore of anime directors.
It's not a cover-up. It's a national treasure.
Those are the ones that I know. I'm sure there's other ones. Maybe up and coming is Yuasa?
Oh, Masaki Yuasa, I think, is definitely getting close to that with some of his films. He hasn't had as many films as the other people that I've listed. Though I guess Hideki Anno hasn't really had that many films. He's had the 4, I guess technically 6 Eva films. You count Death and Rebirth and End of Evangelion. And then the 4 Rebuild Eva films. Shin Godzilla, which is not an anime film, but damn it, I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
The scene where like Godzilla starts spewing out the smoke, and then it turns into fire, and then it gets filtered down to be his radiation.
Breath.
Yeah, atomic breath. It's just like that scene makes that whole movie.
That scene's a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. Also, biggest Godzilla yet.
Cool.
And he might have been trying to mutate into human-like creatures at the end. His tail has got like human skeletal structures in it. So cool. I like Godzilla. I'm not a super big Godzilla guy, but I like Shin Godzilla. Okay, I mean, we hit frag time a while ago, so I feel like we got as much out of... We always struggle to talk about the movies. There's just not... The plot synopsis doesn't last as long.
But yeah, that's our episode. Thanks for listening. You can follow us on Twitter at anime_territory.
Yep.
Listen to us any podcast services basically.
Yep.
And we post these on YouTube under Anime Territory.
Yep. We also post stream archives on YouTube. It'll have already passed by the time this episode comes out, but I should be doing a stream, or I should have just done a stream that was like a marathon 10 or 12 hour stream, which I'll probably break up into parts and put on YouTube, depending on like what game I'm playing.
Probably. Be better.
We're so close to finishing Chrono Trigger. We are on stream, which is twitch.tv/TheMinutGoku. Sometimes we'll play Pokemon on there, the Pokemon Arceus. I might be playing some Digimon on there. I had my nephew on once to play Mario Kart. He's probably coming back for a part of the marathon stream, though he wants to play Super Smash Brothers this time. So
cool.
But check us out there. We put the stream archives of that on YouTube. They're also available on Twitch for like 2 weeks afterwards, I think. But I can't think of anything else to plug.
Well, I think we're good. Oh, what are we watching next week?
Okay. I'm trying to remember which one you chose. I gave you 8 options.
Yeah.
And you rolled the dice like 6 times because you didn't like any of the results.
Yeah.
But we're going to be watching Fuka.
We're going to do
time.
Fuka. Okay.
So it's technically a sequel to a movie in that like the Fuka, the titular character, is the child of the main characters of a show called like Suzaku, but like the 2 main characters, like her parents don't show up in the show, but it is technically a sequel to that.
Cool.
All right. I don't have anything else to say. Do you have anything to say?
No. And thanks for listening. And
you are now leaving the anime territory.